if that makes sense.
There's a lot. Yeah, I mean, they're very different. There's a lot of differences. I mean, and then the audience crossover was probably maybe like 10-20%. I mean, it's probably really small. You know, there's probably more people that just came into MMA. I mean, even people that came into MMA off boxing, I think it's probably a greater number. I mean, as far as fans, I mean, boxing's kind of let everyone down lately. So surely a lot of people have come over from that because of that disappointment. Um, on that, WWE is, there's been some reports they're looking into doing another Brock Lesnar merchandise line. I think maybe that's what the event was about, or the meeting was about.
I honestly had no idea about that, but I could see it. And that's why I could see this meeting happening, because they would have to get some kind of confirmation from Dana, because he has a contract with Lesnar, and Lesnar has a contract under the UFC and whatnot. But I just don't think that's what it is. I honestly really have no clue what it is, because I know Vince was wanting Lesnar, for the recent WrestleMania, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But Dana's also said him and Vince have a good relationship.
Yeah.
And they see eye to eye on a lot of things, but they also recognize their competition. So that meeting has me very curious about what it could be, that they either could be trying to figure out how to please one another, or they could trying to have be sealing a deal on something that none of us really know about.
Yeah. I'm very curious about that. Definitely want to see what's going on with that. I mean,
for all we know, it could be a deal where Lesnar's going to do special appearances on Raw.
Yeah, it could happen. Yeah, I mean, they could be trying to be working out a deal where he does both. But I just think with Brock, just with his schedule and everything, it just doesn't seem likely that that's it.
His health recently.
Yeah, and his health. Yeah, I think it's probably more likely that they want to do some sort of documentary DVD or some sort of merchandise line. I do think the timing's strange. I mean, he is not the heavyweight champion anymore. He's kind of out of the spotlight. His recent series of Ultimate Fighter didn't do that well.
To me, it really isn't that strange, because if you look at it when, in Dana's perspective, Vince is trying to come in, get your top seller and your champ, your heavyweight champ, and have him come do a wrestling promotion, when you do know he used to be a wrestler for WWE. But now, like you said, he doesn't have the title. He's not in the spotlight. His season for the Ultimate Fighter didn't do that well. Vince might be looking at it like, hey, maybe I can do this now. Maybe I can get it.
Yeah, good point. Maybe. I didn't think about it like that. And it also may be a good time for Dana to be like, okay, we'll do that. Maybe hype him up a little more. Mm-hmm. He's coming back in January, supposedly. I mean, the same article that released that he's been meeting with, or was meeting with Vince, also said that Dana mentioned to them that Brock was supposed to be coming back in January, on the first of the year. So definitely could be a connection there. So we're just going to do a little quick Q&A real quick. First, to sort out this cluster of lightweights at the top of the ranks and in contendership, you think UFC could and possibly would organize like a Grand Prix, like a lightweight Grand Prix?
No. I think they should, but I don't think they will. There's more money to be made at fighting individually than there would be to be in a Grand Prix. I just don't think. I think they should, just for the fans, but I don't think they'll do it. They're business guys, and I don't think it'll pan out well.
So who do you think will get the shot after Edgar Maynard 3?
Oh, that's between a couple people. There's definitely some fights that need to happen to see that, but I don't know, man. It's tough. That's a tough one.
Yeah,
that's a real tough question to see who.
Maybe Melvin Gillard, Jim Miller.
I think Melvin Gillard. I think you throw Melvin Gillard, Jim Miller together. I think that's a good first or number one contender fight.
Yeah. What do you think, James, for Grand Prix? Good idea, or You think they would do it?
Like Tyler said, I think it'd be good for a fan's perspective, but as far as business, no, not so much. Just because you can make a lot more money, like you said, individually, and as far as the Grand Prix, like you could have people come out, you could have people get injured, you could have like say there's that cluster of 8 to 10 people right now in lightweight that all could claim, hey, I need this title shot and whatnot. You could have somebody get injured and then somebody comes in, they win it. Really, yeah, they deserve it, but also they weren't in it to start with. And I just think that they're not going to do it. And as far as the next person in line, really, I don't know, because you have Miller, which I think would be the top of it. You have Miller, you have Gillard, you have Seaver, you have Bendo. You have like 3 or 4 other people around up there that you could easily Guida and a couple other people that you could throw around. So really, it just comes around to whoever wins their maybe next 1 or 2 fights.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the upcoming fight's gonna tell us a lot about that division. I don't think it's a bad idea for them to do it. I just don't think they're gonna do it and say, yeah, that's what this is. I think they'll just have them fight, and that's it. They'll just have them fight, and they won't really call it a tournament. They'll just have the fights. That's
Yeah, I
kinda
mean,
the
the
way they do it.
promotion that would go involved to make a Grand Prix is a lot.
Yeah.
To build that up and build all those people up, because
Yeah.
there are people that watch UFC that probably don't even know who the fuck Jim Miller is. I mean, so
Yeah.
is it really worth, like, no, I don't think that they're there yet to really make a lot of money off a Grand Prix. UFC fans haven't been watching long enough to know what even a Grand Prix is.
Yeah.
I mean,
and,
if you've been watching since Pride, you're good to go, but a lot of these kids they don't know.
And what are the chances that it goes off without a hitch? That everyone stays injury
Zero.
free.
Well,
Yeah.
also
Zero.
you have the big question mark of Melendez. Like,
Yeah.
I know he wouldn't be considered in the tournament, let alone in the UFC right now. But say he wins maybe his next 1 or 2 fights, which also you'd have maybe 1 or 2 other title fights, and you still have maybe 3 other guys that can sit there and claim that they're able to fight for the title. But then Melendez comes over and he, jumbles up everything.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and he should probably get the next shot. I mean, as far as the rankings go, it should probably be Melendez, but I know it probably won't happen. But yeah, that division, man, that's a tough one. I don't want to be Joe Silva right now. Okay, this is kind of a quick answer question. What comes first? Anderson Silva versus GSP, or Strikeforce heavyweight champion versus UFC heavyweight champion?
We're assuming that GSP wins.
Assuming that
Okay.
everyone wins and.
I have no idea. I don't think that they're ready to merge together yet. As far as Strikeforce and, I don't think that they're ready to really pluck their guys. So I'm gonna say Anderson Silva, but that's going out on a limb.
You don't think either of them will happen? You don't.
Not by next year.
Okay.
No,
How about you, James?
maybe late next year. Maybe late.
What do you think, James?
Yeah, it'll definitely be a long time before either one of those two happen, just because Strikeforce isn't totally out of it yet, and they still have some fight in them, even though they are owned by Zuffa. They're still their own structure. They still have their own way of doing things. And Anderson Silva and GSP, that's been rumored for so long that, fans are starting to go, yeah, we want it, but is it really going to happen?
Yeah.
It was kind of like with Couture and Fedor back when that whole thing was happening. It was danced around for so long, and by the time that it was even possibly gonna be considered, I mean, everybody's over it,
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm kind of over. I really want to see GSP and Anderson Silva, but I'm pretty sure I know it's gonna happen in that fight. So it's almost like it's a fight for the fans, but I don't see it going anywhere.
I'm just going to go on the record and say that I think that Anderson's going to have a